Get on your knees and pick up this mess, now! The woman's voice barely rose above a whisper. Officer, please, this is my home. I don't care what you were doing. Officer Derek Hutchins tilted his massive soda cup. Cold liquid poured down, soaking her white blouse, dripping onto the concrete. People like you need to learn respect when a badge is talking. She knelt slowly. Her hands gathered scattered groceries, broken eggs, crushed tomatoes. Her house keys lay inches from her fingers. That's better. Stay down there where you belong. Across the street, a neighbor's phone captured everything. The red recording light blinked. The woman's front door stood 8 feet away. So close, but she couldn't reach it. Her expression never changed. Calm, controlled, dangerous. Have you ever been humiliated at your own front door by someone wearing a badge? That morning started like any other. 6:30 a.m. The Richardson kitchen smelled of fresh coffee and toasted bread. Imani Clark Richardson stood at the counter, her natural hair pulled back in a neat bun. She wore a soft gray robe. Her hands moved efficiently, cracking eggs into a bowl. Mom, can I borrow the car tonight? Devin, 16, didn't look up from his phone. You mean my car? Imani smiled. Ask your father for his. James Richardson entered, adjusting his tie. 48 years old, salt and pepper hair, the kind of presence that filled a room. He kissed his wife's forehead. The gesture was automatic, familiar. 14 years of marriage. Big day, he said. Police budget meeting at 3. Imani cracked another egg. The misconduct complaints discussion? Yeah, Chief Donovan's not happy about it. James poured coffee into a travel mug. Some of these officers have patterns, multiple complaints. The union keeps protecting them. He didn't finish the thought. Their daughter Maya, 14, bounced into the kitchen. The conversation shifted to homework and soccer practice. This was their normal. Breakfast, kids, work. The rhythm of a family that looked different from their neighbors but lived exactly the same. They'd moved to Riverside Heights 14 months ago, after James won his second term as mayor. The house was beautiful, colonial style, wide front porch, mature trees lining the street. Everything they'd worked for. Everything some people thought they didn't deserve. Riverside Heights was 89% white. Median home price $1.2 million. The kind of neighborhood where people jogged at dawn and held book clubs on Wednesdays. Where everyone knew everyone. Except they didn't really know the Richardsons. Imani had noticed things, small things that added up. Month 2, an anonymous note tucked into their door. Is the maid staying overnight now? Month 4, a neighbor at the HOA meeting questioned if they really owned or were renting. Month 7, someone called the police about a suspicious person. It was Imani, checking her own mailbox, at 9 p.m. She'd told James about it. He'd made calls, asked questions. Why were officers patrolling their street so frequently? The answer was always vague. Routine patrols. Keeping the neighborhood safe. But Imani knew. She'd seen the same patrol car, multiple times. The officer inside always stared. His expression wasn't neutral. It was contempt. She'd made eye contact with him once. He didn't look away, didn't smile, just kept staring. That was Officer Derek Hutchins, though she didn't know his name yet. You sure you don't want to come tonight? James asked. He meant the donor dinner, another fundraising event where she'd stand beside him and smile. I have 3 patient consultations tomorrow at the clinic, Imani said. I need to prep. This was her choice, her boundary. She was Dr. Imani Clark Richardson, director of the Community Health Center. She'd built that career herself. She wasn't the mayor's wife in her professional life. She was a physician, a leader, someone who'd earned respect through competence, not connection. She kept her maiden name at work. rarely appeared at political events. Let James have the spotlight while she did the work she actually cared about. "The kids and I will hold down the fort," she said. 4:15 p.m. Imani left the health center. Her assistant called goodbye. "Don't forget the board meeting Thursday." She stopped at Whole Foods. Nothing fancy, just ingredients for dinner. Organic vegetables, chicken breast, a box of pasta, 2 reusable shopping bags. She paid, made small talk with the checkout clerk, and drove home. 4:48 p.m. She turned onto Elmwood Drive. NPR played on the radio. Something about police reform nationwide. Ironic timing. Ironic. She noticed the patrol car, 2 houses down. But she didn't think much of it. There were always patrol cars lately. She pulled into her driveway, turned off the engine, gathered her purse, her briefcase, both grocery bags. The bags were heavy. She balanced them carefully, 15 feet from her car to the front door. She'd walked that path 1,000 times. She set the grocery bags on the doorstep. 3 concrete steps. She fumbled in her purse for her house keys. The key ring had a small photo charm. Her family. Smiling. Her fingers closed around the keys. "Excuse me, ma'am." The voice came from behind her. Male. Authoritative. Close. Imani turned. Officer Derek Hutchins stood at the bottom of her front steps. His patrol car now blocked her driveway. Blocked her car. Another officer, younger, stayed by the vehicle. The younger one looked uncomfortable. Hutchins did not. 4:51 p.m. Imani stood at her front door, keys in her hand. The metal felt warm from her palm. "Can I help you, officer?" Hutchins didn't answer immediately. His eyes traveled from her face to the grocery bags on her doorstep, to the house behind her, back to her face. "I need to see some identification. Now." The word now hit like a period, final, non-negotiable. Imani's stomach tightened, but her voice stayed level. "I'm at my own home. Is something wrong?" "I'll ask the questions." Hutchins took 1 step up. Now he was on the bottom step. Closer. "ID. Now." She could smell his cologne. Too strong. Citrus and something chemical. "My license is in my purse. May I reach for it?" Slowly. Her hands moved with deliberate care. She unzipped her purse, found her wallet, pulled out her driver's license. Her fingers didn't shake. She handed it to him. Hutchins held it up, studied it. His lips moved slightly as he read. "Imani Clark Richardson. This address?" "Yes. This is my home. I live here." He looked at the license again, then at her, then at the house. His expression said he was doing math that didn't add up. "Step away from the door." Imani blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" "Step down, away from the door, now." Her heart rate picked up, but she kept her face neutral. "Officer, I'm at my own front door. What is this about?" His hand moved to his belt, to his weapon. He didn't draw it, just rested his hand there. A reminder. "I won't ask again. Step down." She descended the 3 steps. Now she stood on the driveway, 10 feet from her front door. Her grocery bags remained on the doorstep. Her keys were still clutched in her left hand. The metal was cutting into her palm. "Officer, I've done nothing wrong. What's the reason for this stop?" Hutchins moved up. Now he stood where she'd been standing, at her front door, on her property, between her and her home. "How long have you lived here?" 14 months. "You own this house?" "Yes. My husband and I own it." "What do you do for work?" The questions came fast, clipped, like an interrogation. "I'm a healthcare administrator and a physician." Hutchins's mouth twisted. Not quite a smile, not quite a sneer. Right. That single word carried everything. Disbelief, mockery, contempt. "This is $1 million neighborhood," he said. His eyes swept over her again, her work clothes, her sensible shoes, her natural hair. "You afford this on a healthcare salary?" The insult was clear. The assumption was clearer. Imani's jaw tightened. "My finances are none of your concern. I've been watching this street." Hutchins descended one step, moved closer. "Seen you coming and going. Something doesn't add up." "Are you accusing me of something, officer?" "Who really owns this house?" He emphasized the word really like it was a weapon. "Boyfriend? Sugar daddy? Some guilty white liberal who wanted a black—" "I own this home with my husband," Imani cut him off. Her voice stayed level, but her eyes flashed. "We purchased it legally. I'm going inside now." She turned toward the door, toward her grocery bags, toward her home. "I didn't say you could go." She stopped, turned back. "Am I being detained?" "You're being questioned." "On what legal basis?" "I'm at my own home." Hutchins moved down another step. Now he was on the driveway with her. Close. Too close. She could see a coffee stain on his uniform. See the small scar above his left eyebrow. He smelled like old coffee and that too-strong cologne. "I need to search your vehicle." "You don't have probable cause. I don't consent to a search." "I smell marijuana." "There's no marijuana. That's false." His face hardened. "So you're calling me a liar?" "I'm stating a fact." "Open your car. Now." "I do not consent to a search." "Then you're hiding something." Hutchins reached for his handcuffs. "Hands behind your back." Alarm shot through Imani's chest. "I'm not hiding anything. I want to call my attorney." "You can call them from the station. Turn around." Across the street, a door opened. Tom Carter stepped onto his porch. His phone was already in his hand. "Hey!" Tom's voice carried. "What's going on over there?" Hutchins's head snapped toward him. "Police business. Stay back." "That's Mrs. Richardson," Tom called. "She lives there." Hutchins ignored him. He grabbed Imani's arm. She pulled back instinctively. "Don't touch me." "You're resisting." His grip tightened. Painful. "I'm not resisting. I'm asserting my rights." He spun her around, shoved her toward her car. Her shoulder hit the driver's side door. Hard. She gasped. "Hands on the hood." She placed her palms flat on the warm metal. The keys were still in her left hand. The teeth dug into her skin. Hutchins yanked open the driver's door, started searching. He pulled out her briefcase from the passenger seat. Didn't unzip it, just upended it. The contents spilled onto the driveway. Papers scattered. Her iPad hit the concrete with a crack. Medical journals splayed open. Pens rolled under the car. Her work ID badge landed face up. The photo showed her in professional attire. The title read, "Director, Community Health Center." Hutchins picked it up, looked at the photo, looked at her, back at the photo. "This you?" "Yes." He squinted at the title. His lips moved again, reading. "Director?" He laughed, short, sharp, mean. "Probably a fake. You can buy these online." He tossed it onto the driveway, moved to her trunk, popped it open without permission, found nothing but a first aid kit and reusable shopping bags. He slammed it shut. The sound echoed down the quiet street. Another neighbor emerged. Mrs. Patterson. 75 years old. White hair in careful curls. She stood on her porch, hand over her mouth. Hutchins walked to Imani's doorstep, grabbed both grocery bags, brought them down to the driveway, turned them upside down. Tomatoes tumbled out, hit the concrete, burst. Red pulp spread across the gray surface. Eggs shattered, yolk mixed with tomato juice. The pasta box split. dry penne scattered like confetti, organic lettuce, a container of strawberries that cracked open, chicken breast in plastic wrap that landed in a puddle of egg. He kicked the empty bags aside. Clean this up. Imani stared at the mess, at her groceries, at her ruined briefcase contents, at her work scattered across her own driveway. You created this mess. I said clean it up. Now. The word now again. That same period. That same finality. She looked at him. His face was hard, set, satisfied. Then she looked past him, at her front door, 8 feet away. She could see the doorknob, the welcome mat, the small potted plant beside the door. So close. She knelt. Her knees touched the concrete. It was still warm from the afternoon sun. She began gathering items. Her papers were wet now, egg soaking through. She picked up a tomato. It fell apart in her hand. Hutchins walked to his patrol car. She heard the door open. Close. His footsteps returned. Heavier. She was bent over, trying to salvage a medical journal. The pages were already ruined. Cold liquid hit her back. It soaked through her white blouse instantly, freezing, sticky. The smell of cola filled her nose. It ran down her shoulders, down her arms, dripped onto the papers she was holding, onto the concrete, onto her hands. Maybe this'll teach you some respect. Hutchins' voice came from above, from behind. People like you need to learn your place when a badge is talking. The liquid kept coming. 32 ounces. He poured it all, down her back, into her hair. It dripped off her elbows. People like you don't belong in neighborhoods like this. The cup was empty. He dropped it. It clattered beside her. Imani didn't move. For 3 seconds, she stayed frozen, kneeling, soaked, on her own driveway, in front of her own home. Then she stood. Slowly, carefully, she turned. Liquid dripped from her blouse, from her hair. Her white shirt was now transparent in places. Brown stains spread across the fabric. She could feel it cold against her skin, sticky, humiliating. She looked at Hutchins. Her expression was completely calm. No tears, no rage, no fear. Just a cold calculation. Her house keys were still in her left hand. The teeth had left marks in her palm. Small half moons, red. Across the street, Tom Carter had his phone up. Recording. His hand shook, but the red light stayed steady. Mrs. Patterson had her phone pressed to her ear. Her voice drifted across. Chief Donovan? This is Margaret Patterson. One of your officers is assaulting— Put that phone down, Hutchins shouted. Imani Richardson at her home. Yes, the Imani Richardson. Hutchins turned back to Imani. Something flickered across his face. Uncertainty. Brief. Gone. Clean up this mess and get out of my sight. Imani pulled her phone from her pocket. The screen was wet, sticky, but it still worked. I'm calling my attorney. Hutchins moved fast. His hand shot out. He slapped the phone from her grip. Hard. The device flew. Hit the driveway. The screen shattered with a sharp crack. It skidded across the concrete. Stopped near the scattered pasta. You're not calling anybody. Tom Carter's voice carried from across the street. I'm recording this! I saw everything! Hutchins spun toward him. His hand moved to his weapon. Not drawing, just touching. Back off or you're obstructing an officer. You just assaulted her for no reason. I said back off. Tom didn't move. He stayed on the sidewalk, phone steady, recording everything. The younger officer by the patrol car shifted his weight. Derek, maybe we should— Shut up, Brennan. Stay in your lane. Officer Brennan's mouth closed, but his discomfort was visible. His eyes darted between Hutchins and Imani. Between the scattered groceries and the recording neighbors, Mrs. Patterson's voice continued on her phone, quiet but urgent. She's soaking wet. He poured something on her. Yes, I'm absolutely certain. 847 Elmwood Drive. Hutchins turned back to Imani. His face was red now, flushed, angry that his authority was being questioned, that witnesses were gathering. "You're under arrest." Imani's stomach dropped, but her voice stayed steady. "For what crime?" "Disorderly conduct, resisting arrest." "I haven't resisted anything. I've complied with every request." "Turn around. Hands behind your back." She didn't move. "On what legal grounds am I being arrested?" "The grounds that I'm a police officer and you're refusing a lawful order." "Asking for legal justification is not refusal." His jaw clenched. Muscles worked. He grabbed her wrist, twisted. Pain shot up her arm. "You're hurting me." "Then stop resisting." He yanked her arm behind her back, grabbed the other one. She didn't fight, but she didn't make it easy. Her body was rigid, tense. "Stop resisting." "I'm not resisting. I'm refusing an illegal arrest." Metal clicked. Handcuffs, cold against her wet skin. He tightened them. Too tight. The metal bit into her wrists. She winced. "That's better." His voice was close to her ear, his breath hot. "Should have done this from the start." A car door slammed. Another patrol car pulled up, blue lights flashing, no siren. Sergeant Linda Morrison stepped out. African-American, late 40s, 20 years on the force. Her uniform was crisp, pressed. She moved with authority. Her eyes swept the scene immediately. Woman in handcuffs, soaking wet. Groceries scattered everywhere, papers ruined, multiple neighbors recording. This was bad. Very bad. "Hutchins, what's the situation?" He straightened, released Imani but left the cuffs on. "Suspicious activity at this residence. Suspect became belligerent when questioned." Morrison looked at Imani, at the house behind her, at the grocery bags on the doorstep. Back to Imani. "This woman is at her own front door. I had reasonable suspicion." "Of what crime?" Hutchins hesitated. "Possible drug activity." Morrison's eyebrow raised. "Based on?" "Smell of marijuana from the vehicle." "I smelled nothing," Officer Brennan said quietly. Then louder. "I smelled nothing when we arrived." Hutchins shot him a look. Pure venom. Morrison approached Imani. "Ma'am, are you all right?" Finally. Finally someone asking if she was okay. "No." Imani's voice cracked slightly, the first break in her composure. "I'm not. I was assaulted at my own home." "What happened?" "I was unlocking my door. This officer stopped me, forced me away from my door, conducted an illegal search of my vehicle, destroyed my property, then poured his drink on me while I was picking up the groceries he scattered." Morrison's face remained neutral, professional, but her eyes hardened. She looked at Imani's back, the massive wet stain, dark brown, spreading across the white fabric. She looked at the driveway, crushed tomatoes, broken eggs, scattered papers, a cracked iPad. She looked at the empty soda cup lying on the ground. "This is your residence?" "Yes, I live here with my husband and 2 children." "How long?" 14 months. Morrison picked up the work ID badge from the ground, wiped egg off the plastic, read it. "You're a doctor?" "Yes, and healthcare administrator." Morrison looked at Hutchins. Her expression was carefully controlled. "Did you pour liquid on this woman?" "She was being disrespectful." "That's not an answer. Did you or didn't you?" Silence. "Officer Hutchins, did you pour your drink on this civilian?" His jaw worked. She needed to learn yes or no. "Yes." Morrison closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them, her voice was harder. "Did she consent to a vehicle search?" "I had probable cause." Did she consent? Another pause. No. Did you have a warrant? I smelled. Did you have a warrant? Yes or no? No. Morrison turned to Brennan. Officer Brennan, what did you observe? The younger man straightened. We were driving through the neighborhood. Officer Hutchins said he wanted to check this address. He said someone here didn't belong. When we arrived, the resident was at her front door with groceries. He stopped her before she could enter. Did you witness any traffic violation? No, ma'am. Any suspicious activity? No, ma'am. Did you smell marijuana? Brennan hesitated, looked at Hutchins, then back to Morrison. No, ma'am. I did not. Hutchins exploded. Are you serious right now? You're taking her side? Against a fellow officer? Morrison's voice cut like glass. There are no sides. There's the truth and there's misconduct. Which one are you defending? More neighbors had emerged. An elderly white couple, a young family with a toddler, a jogger who'd stopped to watch, all of them standing on porches, on sidewalks, watching. Several had phones up, recording. Hutchins saw them. His face got redder. This is bullshit. Everyone put those phones away. This is official police business. This is a public street, Tom Carter called back. We have every right to record. I'll arrest you for obstruction. For what? Standing on my own property? Morrison raised her hand. Officer Hutchins, step back, now. Linda, come on. You know how this is. She's... Step back. Something in her tone. Command. Authority. Hutchins stepped back. Morrison reached for Imani's handcuffs. I'm removing these. You're not under arrest. The cuffs clicked open, released. Imani's wrists were red, marked. She brought her hands forward, rubbed them. Thank you, she said quietly. Ma'am, I need to ask. Do you want medical attention? No. I want this documented. I want his badge number. I want to file a formal complaint. You'll get all of that, I promise. Hutchins laughed. Short, bitter, mean. A complaint? You think that matters? My union will... Your union won't save you from this. Morrison gestured at the scene, at the witnesses, at the cameras. This is on video. Multiple angles, multiple witnesses. So what? It's her word against mine. It's her word, Officer Brennan's word, and about 6 civilians' videos against yours. They don't know what they saw. They know exactly what they saw. A new voice cut through. Male, white, older. The man from 2 houses down. Retired military, straight back, crew cut. Officer, I'm Robert Patterson. I live at 843. I've been watching this entire incident from my porch. I have a clear view. That woman was at her own front door when you stopped her. Mrs. Patterson joined her husband. I called Chief Donovan directly. He's aware of the situation. Hutchins's face drained slightly. You called the chief? I did. He asked for the address. I gave it. He said he knew this address. He's on his way. Something shifted in Hutchins' expression, still defiant, but cracks were showing. Fine. Let him come. I did nothing wrong. She was suspicious. She matched a description. What description? Morrison asked. There was someone reported... He was scrambling, making it up, badly. What description, Officer Hutchins? A black female, in this neighborhood, driving a Lexus. Morrison's voice went ice cold. That's racial profiling. No, it's not. It's... You stopped her because she's black in an affluent neighborhood. That's the definition of racial profiling. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Hutchins looked around. At Morrison, at Brennan, at the neighbors, at Imani standing there soaking wet with her ruined groceries and her broken phone. He was cornered, and cornered animals got vicious. You know what? Fine. I'll say it. This used to be a good neighborhood, a safe neighborhood. Then people like her started moving in. The words hung in the air. Toxic. Undeniable. People like her? Morrison repeated. Yeah, people who don't belong, who buy houses they can't afford, who bring down property values, who... Officer Hutchins, stop talking. Right now. But he couldn't stop. The dam had broken. 14 months of watching this house, of resenting, of waiting for a moment. I've been a cop here 15 years. I know this neighborhood. I know who fits and who doesn't. He turned to Imani, pointed. How'd you really afford this place, huh? Drug money? Welfare fraud? Or did you marry some guilty white liberal who wanted a diversity hire for a wife? The silence that followed was absolute. Even the birds seemed to stop singing. Tom Carter's voice shaking with anger. I got all of that. Every word. Mrs. Patterson's hand was over her mouth, tears in her eyes. Officer Brennan looked at the ground, ashamed. Morrison's jaw was clenched so tight it looked painful. And Imani just stared at Hutchins. Her expression was still calm, still controlled. But something burned behind her eyes. Something patient. Something that could wait. Her phone, broken on the ground, suddenly rang. The sound was muffled, cracked speaker, but everyone heard it. Morrison picked it up. The screen was shattered but still lit. She could see the caller ID. Her face changed. Color drained. Oh my God. Hutchins frowned. What? Morrison held up the phone so Imani could see. The screen read, James, City Hall. Morrison handed the phone to Imani. Their eyes met. Understanding passed between them. Imani tapped the green button. Put it on speaker. Deliberately. Hello? The voice that came through was warm, familiar, concerned. Honey, I'm so sorry. The police budget meeting ran late. Just wrapping up now. Male voice, mature, authoritative undertones masked by affection. Brief pause. Chief Donovan is here with me. We're discussing officer misconduct protocols. I should be home by 5:30. Want me to pick up dinner? Hutchins frowned, confused. Imani's voice stayed calm. James, I'm standing in our driveway. I need you to come home immediately. The tone changed instantly. What's wrong? Are you hurt? I was stopped by a police officer as I was unlocking our front door. He forced me away, conducted an illegal search, destroyed our groceries, then poured his drink on me. Silence on the line. Heavy. When the voice came back, it was completely different. No longer husband, now mayor. Put the officer on the phone. Hutchins reached for it. His hand shook. Who is this? The voice came through clear, cold, commanding. This is Mayor James Richardson. Who is this? The blood drained from Hutchins's face, completely, red to white in seconds. This is Officer Derek Hutchins, sir. Morrison had gone very still, her eyes wide. Officer Hutchins, did you just assault my wife? Sir, I didn't know. Did you or did you not pour a beverage on her? Silence. Answer me. Yes, sir. Barely audible. Badge number. 4739, sir. Officer Hutchins, badge 4739. I want you to know that I am currently sitting with Police Chief Donovan, City Attorney Sarah Carter, and 3 City Council members. Hutchins stumbled backward. His foot caught on a crushed tomato. We were discussing police misconduct reform. You just became our case study. Hutchins' legs weakened. He leaned against the patrol car. Sergeant Morrison, are you on scene? Morrison straightened. Yes, Mr. Mayor. Document everything. Photographs, statements, video evidence. Officer Hutchins is not to leave that location. Yes, sir. I'm 12 minutes away. The line went dead. Hutchins stared at Imani. Why didn't you say something? Her expression didn't change. Say what? That you're the mayor's wife. And that matters why? If you just said... Said what, officer? That I'm human? That I deserve respect? That I have the right to enter my own home? She took one step toward him, still dripping, still covered in soda. But the power had shifted, completely. I shouldn't need to be the mayor's wife to be treated with dignity at my own front door. Hutchins' mouth opened. No words came. You saw a black woman in a nice neighborhood. You decided I didn't belong. You decided I needed to be taught a lesson. I made a mistake. I'll fix this. Fix it? Her voice was sharp. You poured your drink on me while I was kneeling. You humiliated me in front of my neighbors. You violated my rights. She gestured at the mess. Eggs, tomatoes, broken pasta, ruined papers. How exactly do you fix that? Tom Carter called from across the street. Mrs. Richardson, I have 11 minutes of video from the moment he stopped you. Mrs. Patterson added, I recorded my phone call to Chief Donovan, time-stamped. Another neighbor. My Ring doorbell caught everything. Cloud backup. Hutchins looked around, at all the witnesses, all the cameras, all the evidence. He turned to Brennan. Kyle, tell them she was suspicious. Brennan met his eyes. No. What? She wasn't suspicious. She was going into her own home. You stopped her for no reason. You're supposed to back me up. I'm supposed to tell the truth. You violated policy, conducted an illegal search, assaulted a civilian. Hutchins turned to Morrison. Linda, come on. You know how it is. How it is? Morrison's voice was ice. Profile people by skin color? Abuse your authority? I was doing my job. No, you were doing the opposite. His face crumpled. Reality is sinking in. Please. 15 years on the force. A family. A pension. I'll lose everything. Imani's voice cut through. You should have thought about that. He turned to her, tears forming. Please, I'm sorry. If you'd known I had power, you'd have treated me differently. That's not an apology. That's fear of consequences. I didn't mean... You meant every word. You said I don't belong. You said people like me bring down neighborhoods. You asked if I married a white man for money. Each sentence was a hammer blow. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you chose the wrong victim. Sirens in the distance, getting closer. Hutchins's face was wet, with tears, with sweat, with the complete destruction of his career. Morrison pulled out her phone, started photographing the wet stains, the scattered groceries, the broken eggs, the empty soda cup. Officer Hutchins, wait right here. Don't speak to anyone. Don't call anyone. Wait for Chief Donovan and the mayor. Linda, that's Sergeant Morrison. If you say one more word, I'll handcuff you myself. The sirens were close now. Hutchins stood there, defeated, destroyed. Imani stood in front of her house, keys still in hand. The door is still 8 feet away. But now she had witnesses, evidence. Justice was 12 minutes away, 5:14 p.m. A black SUV with city plates screeched into the driveway. No lights, no siren. But the urgency was clear. Mayor James Richardson stepped out before the vehicle fully stopped. Suit jacket gone, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up. Behind him, Police Chief Michael Donovan, 55, white, military bearing. His face was grim. City Attorney Sarah Carter emerged third, 40, sharp eyes, iPad already in hand. James went straight to Imani. His hands found hers. Are you hurt? She shook her head, but her composure cracked slightly. Eyes wet. I'm angry. I'm humiliated, but I'm not hurt. He saw the stains on her blouse, the scattered groceries, the broken eggs, her shattered phone. He looked at their front door. She'd been 8 feet from safety. James turned to Hutchins. You stopped my wife at our front door? Hutchins couldn't speak. She had her keys in her hand, and you stopped her. Sir, I didn't realize You didn't realize what? That she's a person? That she has rights? James stepped closer. Hutchins flinched. Because you saw a black woman, and you decided she couldn't possibly belong here. Chief Donovan approached. He surveyed the scene. His expression darkened. He stopped in front of Hutchins. Officer Hutchins, I'm placing you under immediate suspension. Badge, weapon, radio, now. Hutchins's hands shook. He unpinned his badge. The metal glinted in the sun. Chief Donovan snatched it. Weapon. Hutchins unholstered his pistol, trembling. The chief took it, handed it to Morrison. Radio. Hutchins unclipped it, handed it over. You have 15 years on this force. You just ended all 15 of them. I have a family, a pension. You should have thought about that before you poured your drink on the First Lady. Fresh tears on Hutchins's face. You violated your oath, abused your power, targeted a citizen based on race, conducted an illegal search, assaulted a civilian. Each charge was a nail. You're facing criminal charges, assault, official misconduct, civil rights violations, illegal search, false reports. Sarah Carter stepped forward. I have 16 photographs, the wet clothing, the scattered evidence, the broken phone, the empty cup. She turned to Tom Carter. Sir, you recorded the video? Tom nodded. 11 minutes, full HD, already sent to your email. Mrs. Patterson, you called the chief? I did. I recorded that call. Sarah looked at Brennan. Your body camera was on? Yes, ma'am. The footage is secured. Dash cam, too. She looked at Hutchins. Your body camera? Silence. Brennan spoke quietly. He didn't turn it on. He told me it malfunctioned, but I saw him turn it off. Sarah made a note. Add tampering with evidence. Chief Donovan's voice was granite. Derek Hutchins, you are suspended without pay effective immediately. You are forbidden from contact with Mrs. Richardson, any witnesses, or any department member. Internal Affairs will collect your uniform and equipment tomorrow at 0800. Do you understand? Hutchins nodded. Verbal confirmation. Yes, sir. Hoarse. Broken. Get in the patrol car. Officer Brennan will drive you home. Directly home. No stops, no media, no social media. Speak only to your union rep and attorney. Hutchins stumbled to the car. His legs barely worked. Brennan opened the back door, the civilian side, where suspects sit. Hutchins got in. The door closed. Final. Chief Donovan turned to Imani. His expression softened. Mrs. Richardson, on behalf of the entire department, I apologize. Imani's voice was steady. Your apology is noted, Chief, but apologies don't fix this. Systemic change does. You'll get it, I promise. Sarah Carter approached. Mrs. Richardson, when you're ready, we'll need a full statement. Tomorrow is fine. Imani looked at her ruined groceries, her broken phone, her scattered papers, then at her front door. I'd like to go inside now. James squeezed her shoulder. Let's go home. They walked together, up the driveway, up the 3 steps. James picked up the grocery bags. Imani put her key in the lock, turned it. The door opened. She stepped inside. Finally, into her own home. The door closed behind them. Outside, Morrison began securing the scene. Photographs, evidence markers, witness statements. The neighbors watched. Some were crying, some were angry. All of them understood they'd witnessed something that would change their neighborhood forever. Tom Carter looked at his phone. At the 11-minute video, he opened Twitter. His finger hovered over the post button. He pressed it. The video began uploading. Tom Carter's video went viral in 90 minutes. By 7 p.m., 300,000 views. By 9 p.m., 2 million. By midnight, 8 million people had watched a black woman get soaked with soda on her own doorstep. The comments exploded. She had her keys in her hand, at her own front door. This is the mayor's wife. Imagine what happens to people without power. By morning, national news had picked it up. CNN ran it as breaking. First Lady assaulted at home by officer. MSNBC brought in civil rights attorneys. Even Fox News couldn't defend it. The video was too clear. Hashtags trended. Justice for Imani. Doorstep incident. Black at home. Within 24 hours, 5,000 people filled City Hall Plaza. Signs everywhere. She had her keys. Black while home. Badge doesn't mean immunity. The crowd was diverse. All ages. All races. They weren't just angry. They were heartbroken. 2 p.m. Imani stepped to the microphones. Navy suit. Hair pulled back. Eyes fierce. My name is Dr. Imani Clark Richardson. 2 days ago, I came home with groceries. I walked to my front door. I took out my keys. I was about to go inside. Pause. And I was stopped. Questioned. Searched. Humiliated. Assaulted. Not because I broke any law. Because I'm black. The crowd was silent. If this can happen to me, with my resources, my platform, my witnesses, imagine what happens every day to people without those advantages. Her voice grew stronger. This isn't about me being the mayor's wife. It's about me being a black woman presumed criminal at her own front door. Thunderous applause. We demand accountability. We demand reform. We demand that every person has the right to walk into their own home without being stopped or violated. The crowd erupted. Justice now! Justice now! Behind the scenes, Internal Affairs pulled Hutchins's file. 21 complaints, 18 from people of color. The pattern was undeniable. Marcus Thompson, black attorney, illegal search, 2019. Dismissed. Dr. Kenneth Wade, black surgeon, harassed, 2021. Insufficient evidence. Jasmine Rodriguez, Hispanic business owner, detained 2 hours, 2022. Union intervened. 9 more victims were identified in the first week. Digital forensics recovered deleted texts. To a fellow officer, new black family on Elmwood, keeping an eye on them. To a buddy, the mayor's wife thinks she's special, won't last. Group chat with 4 officers, racist memes, profiling jokes, slurs. His GPS logs showed he'd driven past the Richardson house 47 times in 6 months, always off his assigned route. This wasn't a mistake. This was premeditated harassment. The district attorney filed charges 6 days later. 3 felonies, 4 misdemeanors, assault, official misconduct, civil rights violations, illegal search, false arrest attempt, filing false reports, tampering with evidence. The union issued a weak statement. Translation, they were abandoning him. The trial began 8 weeks later. Assistant District Attorney Maria Gonzalez prosecuted. Sharp. No nonsense. The defense attorney looked tired from day 1. Day 2. Imani testified. She walked the jury through every moment, standing at her door, being forced away, the illegal search, the scattered groceries, kneeling, the drink poured on her back. I was 8 feet from my front door. I had my house keys in my hand, and he stopped me from going home. Her voice never wavered. Cross-examination couldn't shake her. Defense tried. Why didn't you identify yourself as the mayor's wife? Because I shouldn't have to prove my worth to enter my own home. The jury was riveted. Day 3. Tom Carter's video played in court. 11 minutes. Crystal clear. 2 jurors wiped their eyes when the soda poured. 3 looked away when Hutchins said, "People like you don't belong." Day 4. Officer Brennan testified. "He told me that morning he wanted to check that address. He said someone there didn't belong." Defense couldn't discredit him. He was credible, earnest. Day 5. Sergeant Morrison testified. "In 20 years, I've never seen such a clear abuse of power. He had no legal justification. He targeted her because of her race." Day 6. The text messages were projected on screens. Racist memes, group chats, complaints about diversity. Several jurors looked at Hutchins with disgust. Day 7. Hutchins testified. Disaster. "I thought she looked suspicious." "Why?" "Something felt off." "What felt off?" "My instincts." "Your instincts told you a woman unlocking her own front door was suspicious?" Silence. The prosecutor held up the empty soda cup. "You poured this on her while she was kneeling. Can you explain that?" "It was a stressful situation." "Stressful for whom?" "You had the badge, the gun. She had groceries and house keys." No answer. "You said people like you don't belong. What did you mean?" "I didn't mean it the way it sounded." "How else could you possibly have meant it?" No answer. Day 8. Closing arguments. Defense painted it as a mistake. An overzealous officer. The prosecution showed the video again. Let the jury see it one more time. This wasn't a mistake. This was a choice. Every action was a choice. And now, you get to choose. Justice or impunity. The jury deliberated for 4 hours, guilty on all counts. Hutchins collapsed at the defense table. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Judge Maria Torres presided. Latina, 52, former prosecutor, known for tough sentences. "You stopped a woman at her own front door, with her keys in her hand. You forced her away. You violated her rights. You humiliated her. You assaulted her. Why? Because you decided she didn't belong." Her voice was steel. "You weaponized your badge. You betrayed public trust. You terrorized a citizen based on skin color." Pause. 2.5 years in county jail, 4 years probation, $100,000 in fines, permanent ban from law enforcement, court-ordered therapy, and racial bias counseling. Hutchins wept. "The public trusted you with power. You used it to oppress. This court finds your actions reprehensible." The gavel came down. Imani sat in the gallery, James beside her. She didn't smile. This was justice. But it was hollow. Civil proceedings moved faster. Imani sued the city, department, and Hutchins. The city settled within 60 days, $4.5 million. Imani donated every cent to the Legal Defense Fund for victims of police misconduct. "This money isn't mine. It belongs to every person who's been profiled without resources to fight back." The settlement included mandatory reforms. Civilian Oversight Board. Imani was appointed chair. Body camera policy overhaul. Early warning system for complaints. Independent investigators. Quarterly bias training. Public accountability dashboard. Police Chief Donovan retired. Replaced by Commander Patricia Hayes. Black woman. 25-year veteran. Reform-minded. The entire culture began to shift. 6 months later. City Hall auditorium. Packed. 500 people. Standing room only. The air hummed with anticipation. A banner hung above the stage. Police reform. Progress report. Mayor James Richardson and Imani stood together at the podium. She wore a deep green suit. Her natural hair was styled in elegant twists. She looked powerful, confident, healed, but not unchanged. James spoke first, brief, acknowledging the work done, the work remaining. Then he stepped aside. Imani approached the microphone. The room quieted. 6 months ago, I walked to my own front door with groceries and my house keys. Her voice was calm, strong. It filled the space. I never made it inside, not when I wanted to. A police officer decided I didn't belong in my own neighborhood, at my own home, on my own doorstep. Pause. Let it land. He was wrong. But here's the hard truth. I'm one of the lucky ones. She let that sink in. I had witnesses. I had video. I had resources. I had a husband with power. Most people who experience this, they have none of those things, and for them, there's usually no justice at all. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. So we made changes, real changes, not promises, not committees, action. She gestured to Commander Patricia Hayes sitting in the front row. The new police chief stood. Applause filled the room. New leadership. Commander Hayes brings 25 years of experience and a commitment to reform. Patricia nodded, sat. Civilian Oversight Board with real power to investigate and discipline, not just recommend, actually act. More applause. Body cameras are mandatory, always on during interactions. No more convenient malfunctions. Officers who turn them off face immediate suspension. Early warning system. 3 complaints trigger automatic review. 5 complaints trigger removal. No more union protection for repeat offenders. Independent investigators for all misconduct claims. No more police investigating themselves. Quarterly bias training with actual testing. Officers who fail must retrain. Officers who fail twice are reassigned. Officers who fail 3 times are terminated. Public accountability dashboard. Every complaint, every investigation, every outcome. Available online for anyone to see. The crowd was nodding. Some were taking notes. The results so far: complaints down 34%. Not because we're hiding them, because officers know there's real accountability now. Use of force incidents down 41%. Community trust scores up 28%. 6 officers terminated for misconduct that previously would have been protected. She paused. Let the numbers speak. And 0 body camera malfunctions since the new policy. Laughter. Knowing laughter. But this isn't about numbers, it's about people. It's about trust. It's about the fundamental right to feel safe in your own neighborhood. At your own front door. Her voice softened slightly. The Richardson family still lives on Elmwood Drive, in the same house. We're not leaving. 7 more families of color have moved in. Our block parties now include everyone. Mrs. Patterson and I have tea together every Thursday. Warm applause. Change is possible, but it requires commitment. It requires courage. It requires refusing to accept injustice as normal. She stepped back from the podium slightly. Her tone shifted, more personal. My case had a resolution, a verdict, a sentence, reform. But I think about the others, the people who experience this without cameras, without witnesses, without power. She looked directly at the audience. This victory isn't just mine. It belongs to every person who's been profiled, harassed, or dismissed because of how they look. Standing ovation. It lasted nearly a minute. When it quieted, Imani leaned into the microphone one last time. Real justice doesn't require privilege. It's a right. And until everyone has it, regardless of skin color, neighborhood, or last name, none of us are truly free. The applause was thunderous. Later that evening, sitting in her living room, Imani scrolled through social media. The town hall video had been posted. Comments flooded in. This is what accountability looks like. She turned her trauma into systemic change. If this can happen to the mayor's wife, imagine what happens to regular people. Share this. Everyone needs to see real reform in action. Her phone buzzed. Text from Sergeant Morrison. Now Captain Morrison. Proud to serve under this new system. Thank you for fighting. Imani smiled, typed back. Thank you for standing up that day. She set her phone down, looked around her living room. Family photos on the wall, her medical degree, James's law degree, the kids' school pictures. Through the window, she could see her front door, the doorstep where it happened. She'd walked through that door 1,000 times since. Each time was a small victory, a reclamation. Devin walked through now, home from basketball practice. Hey, Mom. Hey, baby. Good practice? Yeah, really good. He headed upstairs. Normal. Easy. Safe. That's what it should be. Normal. Easy. Safe. For everyone. Imani stood, walked to her front door, opened it, stepped onto the doorstep. The evening air was cool, quiet, peaceful. She looked down, at the concrete where she'd knelt, where groceries had scattered, where soda had dripped. No stains remained, but the memory was permanent. And maybe that was okay. Maybe that memory was fuel. Fuel for change. Fuel for justice. Fuel for the work still ahead. She went back inside, closed the door, locked it. Her home, her sanctuary, her right. If this story moved you, share it. Someone needs to know they're not alone. If you've experienced profiling, document everything. Speak up. Find your advocates. Your story matters. Subscribe for more stories where justice prevails. Hit that like button if you believe everyone deserves respect at their own front door. Drop a comment. What would you have done if you witnessed this? And here's the final question. The one that should haunt us. If the mayor's wife can be stopped at her own front door with her keys in her hand, who's really safe? And how many others has this happened to today, right now, without a single witness?
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.